Welcome back. Okay, now we're on to the meat of things. We talked a little bit about strategic initiatives, key performance indicators, and metrics. Now we'll take a little bit deeper dive and go into explanations and some examples. So critical to this is that the plan is not stagnant. The plan means that as you make progress and your understanding improves, that you want to be able to then analyze the results and the status, take corrective action, and continuously update your plan. One of the early investors in one of my companies some years ago used to tell me, Steve, plan early and often, which basically means that even if you don't have a complete understanding, put some assumptions in. And as your understanding improves, you can replace the assumptions with facts and continually refine your plan and become more accurate. So start with the plan, get some strategic initiatives in place, determine what your metrics are, analyze the results, see what happens and what corrective actions are required, update the plan, and continually repeat this cycle as time goes on. So now we've talked about strategic initiative. Let's talk about a key performance indicator. And a key performance indicator, again, is in support of the strategic initiative itself. The best ones are difficult, but reachable with good effort. So again, this focuses the organization on the most important components. It specifically clearly identifies what the desired outcome is. It's accepted and have been committed by those people who have to achieve the results of the goal. So there's always typically a negotiation that goes on. And the best ones are developed by the employees themselves and are bubbled up. And their participants, so they will improve the quality of the goals by understanding what the outcomes should be. And then, of course, as we said earlier, monitored for progress on a regular basis. Another way of thinking about KPIs is that they're SMART. And so S-M-A-R-T. So they're specific, meaning that there's a target, they target a specific area of improvement, that they're measurable, that it quantifies at least, and suggests an indicator or a measure of progress. And the best way to think about this is if you write one and you finish your sentences as measured by, then it will naturally lead you to a measurable outcome. Achievable in that they won't be frustrating that in fact you've set the goals too high and people continuously feel like they're failing to get there. And realistic that the results can be achieved within the available resources and in the time period, and then be specific about the time period itself so that people can understand if there's dependencies when the expected completion date will be. So let's look at an example here. And this is a strategic initiative that's supported by a financial metric. And a financial metric is slightly different than a KPI in that it ties directly to outcomes that can be measured in a financial way. So this particular social enterprise was focused on 4 things: improving their sales channel, getting better demand generation, putting an information system in place, and getting a secured source of supply or an assured source of supply for a critical component within their widget. And we're going to focus on the first of the strategic initiative having to do with the sales channel. The way they articulated was that they wanted to secure new resellers. And how many new resellers per quarter? They wanted the resellers to be capable of selling a specific number of widgets within the first quarter and a specific number within each quarter thereafter. So that's a ramp at which their effectiveness goes up. So those are the 3 things that we're going to look at and turn into a financial metric. Now let's take a look at this rather complicated chart here. And let me focus your eyes on a couple of different things. First is, we're going to identify the number of new resellers per quarter. And in this case, it's 3. And then we're going to say what our expectation about the effectiveness of these resellers in the first quarter of the contract, which is 200 of the widgets, and in each quarter thereafter, 500. So this is the baseline case, and as we look at the results here down at the bottom, this is a happy outcome. So in the 4th quarter, they turn profitable, they have still plenty of cash, and it's exactly how they designed this particular strategic initiative, which is with its supporting financial metrics. Now let's vary a couple of those critical items. First thing we're going to do is we're going to reduce the number of new resellers per quarter from 3 to 2, but we'll leave the number of units that they sell within the particular first quarter and the follow-on quarters the same. So what's the result that we see here? Wow, very interesting. So first is that the profitability that was there in the fourth quarter has gone away. They're still in a loss position. However, curiously, the cash has actually gone up. So why might this happen? This happens because the amount of resources internally to support a distribution channel or a number of resellers is more like a fixed expense. So each one that you adds more internal resource requirements. And so while profitability or gross margin may have gone down, your OPEX has gone up, and so has your cash consumption. Let's take another example. In this case, we're going back to 3 new resellers per quarter, which is our baseline. However, the efficiency of the resellers has gone down. The first quarter has gone from 200 down to 150, and the follow-on quarters has gone from 500 to 400 per quarter. So what happens now? This is really bad. So this now, you run out of cash in the third quarter, your profitability is gone. So what this actually tells us is the primary concern, and what we want to measure carefully, is not exclusively the number of new resellers, but the efficiency of the resellers themselves. And if there's a trade-off between adding new resellers or making the resellers that we have more efficient, then we should always err on the side of making the resellers we have more efficient, because that actually gives us a better financial result. So now here's our poor guy whose resellers have missed their goals, and he's in trouble. So what should we do to mitigate the cash burn rate that we've seen that's in excess of what we planned? And there are ways for management then to be able to respond to this proactively so that we can take the corrective action required. One suggestion is in your plans is to establish trigger points. So a trigger point is a phase-based method of controlling the burn rates. So what that says is that I have to achieve certain milestones before I'm willing to commit additional resources. And that way I'm not spending into a place where I cannot get the return that I want because other portions of the organizations or my resellers are not producing at the level that I want. And a couple of examples of trigger points is if I'm developing a new product and I can't pass rigorous testing before I release to production, then I shouldn't have the capacity in place to be able to do that. Or if I'm doing beta testing and the customers are not responding as expected, that is, the derived value that they're seeing is less than what we had hoped for, then I may not choose to go to production with that particular product. Similarly, if there's quality aspects having to pass certain certification before ramping volume, and or if the service contracts, I want to make sure those are in place before I ramp my capacity. So in each case, we would think about what's critical before I'm willing to spend money on the next phase. What do I have to have in place so that if there is any inevitable changes to the schedules, that I'm not in a position where I'm compromising my cash flow. So again, trigger points must be aligned with the strategic initiatives themselves. So in summary, plan early and often. Start with your plan, articulate your strategic initiatives, make sure there's measurements and metrics in place, look at the results regularly and provide corrective action, update the plan, and continue to go. Here's an example of what you'll be doing in your deliverable. So what we have here is our old friends from Skills Tank, and so what we've articulated is the strategic initiatives associated with their particular product, the KPIs, the actual versus the expected, the anticipated results. And so as a deliverable for your organization, determine 2 or 3 strategic initiatives, the supporting KPIs, and what you expect the results are, and see what that does for your organization.